Welcome to the Inside Integration Podcast. My name is Chris. I am joined by my two, I was going to say my two best friends in the world. I don't know how accurate that is, but I am joined.
Man, I was elevated for 1 second and then immediately deflated.
Yeah, I am joined. And today, as it lays out on the grid here, Jayson is the bearded meat sandwich. So
Ooh,
we've got Jayson immediately to my left, and we've got Jesse 2 doors down over there. And yeah, man, it's a threesome today.
Well, hey, boy, howdy. Look at that.
Meat sandwiches with beards and threesomes. Like, we're off to a great start.
Holy cow.
I love it. I love it.
How is this related to the custom install industry? Let's figure out that matrix here really fast.
Because we were making veiled references to getting and that's what this industry is. So
yeah,
it's a lot of getting anyway.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. But speaking of a lot going on, Chris, I think you might have a little bit of an announcement.
Oh yeah, I'm pregnant. No.
Oh shit! I didn't know that was possible.
Are you?
It is 2025.
It's a food baby.
I mean, I had no idea that this was coming. But are you referring to our new swag?
I was referring to our new swag. Yeah, absolutely.
We have some new swag coming. We've got a couple of good things. Trying to capitalize on some of the catchphrases that we've had on this show. The first installment of this is going to be we're making the buffet badger famous. So
yes.
Look for it at a trade show near you. We're gonna have some 3-inch round stickers, and when I edit the video of this, I'll make the little badger fly across the screen and whatnot. We've got two kinds. We've got the Badger seal of approval, and we've got the not fit for Badger consumption sticker. And hopefully in practice, we'll see these all over the place. So.
Yeah. See, somewhere in my mind, I'm imagining, like, if you ever been to Fogo de Chao or like a churrascaria where they've got like the green puck, red puck for like more meat, no more meat. Like that's what I imagine somebody could use these stickers for. Like, I love the branding. I love the imaging. If you don't know what a buffet badger is, you A, haven't listened to this podcast, and B, you probably haven't thought about it for a very long time. But there's that trend for people to show up around lunchtime for events and whatnot. And if you're only there for lunch, you're a buffet badger.
That's right.
Straight up.
Perhaps you stick around the trade show booth long after everybody has packed up in the hopes of getting an invite to the team dinner with the rest of the team. That's fine. We've seen that too. But this
and admittedly so, I will pay, in my day and even now as a rep. Hey, you want to hang out a little bit afterwards, maybe catch some lunch or grab a bite with these guys?
Absolutely.
You can move some boxes. Hey, that's money well spent.
That badger is well fed at all times. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's not, I don't think it's negative connotation.
No, I don't think so either.
It's kind of an unofficial mascot for a lot of things, show up and do what's best for you.
It's true. And so look forward to that. Eventually we're going to have t-shirts and all kinds of crap as soon as I figure out how to do that. And look for some new fun stickers in the immediate future. It's good that we get the plug right out there, like right out.
If anybody's going to listen to this podcast, I want them to get the messaging right off the bat that we are trying to fleece them for free stickers.
I mean, everything in the world seems like a grift right now. We might as well get in on that grift, right?
Yeah, you might get a sponsor. Who knows?
Yeah,
I'll make those stickers for you.
We're open to sponsorship, and it does not have to be AV related, even a little bit.
I mean, could you imagine if the Claim Jumper restaurant chain jumped on board and wanted to be like Badger approved, and like now suddenly there's Claim Jumpers Badger approved? Like that would be the greatest thing ever.
A Claim Jumper is a fantastic reference for anybody in Southern California. Wow. Great.
Right?
Well done. I want a pie all of a sudden.
They're still
I
here.
just want a big apple pie.
They're still 8-layer chocolate cake.
That is Claim Jumper has many, many similarities across the country. Like I know on the East Coast we had Perkins. I don't know if you guys ever had them out here.
Oh yeah.
Perkins was the same idea, right? Like Friendlies it's the same kind of thing, but
Village Inn.
Yep. That was a chain. Yep.
The VI, dude.
Yeah, the VI's out here in the PNW, so there's a lot of letters that I just put together that said a lot. But
you roll into that place and like,
I think there's only like one left.
it's in Felony Way. I've been to it and had some meetings there. It's great.
Felony Way. It's where our boss lives.
I think we might have had breakfast with them there one day.
I think you and I may have been actually sitting at that same table. Yes, sir.
Yes. Yeah, it's the kind of place like you go into the place and like the menu is like thick like a paperback, but it's
too big.
It's completely it's all laminated. There's still cigarette burns from when you used to be able to smoke inside, right? And like there's always this big glass case at the front with cakes that have probably been in there for a week, just rotating slowly.
They're shellacked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're shellacked.
They're like
they
beetles.
are the same ones.
There's like a scorpion in there, but it's actually a raisin rum cake or some shit.
It's the jam, and you could go there and you can get yourself a French dip or a Monte Cristo or whatever. Right? On. I mean, come on, man.
You and I love a good greasy spoon. I know when we went to Frank's in Spokane, that place,
the highlight of Spokane. Let me tell you,
it was pretty good.
It was pretty good.
Chris and I found one in Tukwila. We stayed in a hotel there, and it was I don't know. I don't remember. It was like Donna's Kitchen or it was something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, let's go here.
It's a pancake kitchen. It's the pancake kitchen, right?
Like, I don't know what it was. It was like, it was a woman's name, like Liz or something. Yeah. But they had Loco Moco, and we were both like, yes.
Yeah, it's right by it's kind of like where the train station goes over the highway there or whatever, right? Like the light rail. And
no,
it's kind of
by
like
the mall. It's near the mall. So it's like the South Center Mall. It's somewhere
Everybody's
in that area.
Immediately tuned out of this podcast.
Welcome to Tukwila.
If you can find a good Loco Moco somewhere.
We're shining a spotlight on Tukwila today.
Yeah, wow. They're used to that. They're from helicopters overhead. That's what they do in Tukwila.
Wow. Alienating
the ghetto birds.
Ghetto birds. Jesus.
I didn't say that, but I did say that they've definitely seen a spotlight or two overhead from a helicopter. I don't know why. So
would you say that being in Tukwila fills you with fear, uncertainty, and doubt? Is that
if you're not there to shop?
If I was to draw a parallel to whatever, March 17th, 2025, St. Patrick's Day, the day that we're recording here, to Tukwila, to embody a city, I would say it's pretty similar. You know, it's the only place that I've actually physically heard gunshots like in traffic, like over cars. So, and I've lived in a lot of gun-friendly places like Texas and Florida and Louisiana. Never heard gunshots in traffic. Tukwila, check please. You know?
Yep, I used to live there.
Based on the fact that I'm broadcasting live from Southern California, that's cute.
Yeah, right.
That's a cute thing you just said.
Wait, you heard that one time? Yeah. That's cute.
I mean, yeah, sure. But I went to the Clippers game yesterday, which is in Englewood, and they've done a really amazing job of bulldozing and gentrifying all the things that you might have found in a Grand Theft Auto video game or on a Dr. Dre CD. And it's very much, but it's like that line between. I mean, there's a very straight definition of do not make a left when you leave the parking garage because you're going to end up, on a mission in GTA.
Right? How many stars do you have?
Automatic one star, right?
Like immediately you're suspect because you don't belong in this neighborhood and you don't know where you're going. And you're listening to Waze, which is a bad idea in certain parts of Southern California because Waze doesn't see turf lines, right? Like they don't. There's no update for a turf war, so you can drive through some places that you just don't really want to be driving through.
There's no checkbox for avoid Crips. There's just not. It just doesn't have tolls. Yes, highways. Yes, Bloods. No, Crips. No.
Right? Yeah, they don't. Yeah. Well, MS-13, you got to watch out for those guys too. I think they're a little more. I mean, I don't know. It looks like the scariest bunch of dudes in general across the board in my book. But, I'm an old white guy, so what do I know?
It's, true. All the way across. It's just, we're just one loaf of white bread here on your screen.
Yeah. We are definitely a narrow slice of the demo.
Hairy bread. But
yeah, I mean, the talk these days, aside from Tukwila talk, the talk these days are, everybody's thinking tariffs. It's been beaten to death, right? Like every manufacturer that we've talked to is trying to figure out what they're going to do. And the craziest thing about it nobody knows. Like everybody is this like wait and see. Like, yeah, there's some things that are going to get announced and whatever, and certain things, but honestly, everybody's like, yeah, we don't know. We're going to figure it out. Okay, we're going to, on this date that's reasonably far into the future, we're going to do this unless this happens. And then we're going to do this. So it's weird, man.
We've seen the letters go out from some of our vendor partners where they've just flatly said, here's what we're doing. And then, we've sat through some of our other, sat through some other meetings where they're like, we'll figure it out when we get there, because it's hard to figure out even what the difference in the commodity cost, the cost of goods actually translates to in a net price increase. So how do we properly factor for that to be fair to everybody? Right. And the question, the question gets answered by, because nobody freaking knows, right? Like, it's terrible.
Right. And, as if you're a business owner, like, how are you supposed to plan? Like, what are you supposed to do?
But you really can't.
The only thing that I've seen, and this was, this is fresh off of how things went down in COVID, was one of the smart things that we did was we put a disclaimer in our proposals, like, this price is subject to change until you make your 90% progress payment. Like, this could all go to hell. And it's a small way to cover your ass, I guess, but it's important to be upfront, be upfront with your client. Like, hey man, we don't know what's going on in the world. These components are all made here. They get assembled here. This country might be under tariffs. This one probably won't be, but we don't know. And, we're kind of at their whim. What else can you do? Right.
You really can't do anything. I mean, I guess fortunately everybody knows it's coming, so it shouldn't be a shock to anyone. But the fact that there's no plan or nothing to plan for.
Well, there's no discernible plan. Right. There might be a plan, but there's not one anybody can figure out.
Yeah, there's certainly nothing consistent, right? Like it is. It's all over the place. So
it is strange though to think about. Like, I mean, I think at the root of all of this, the intent is, there's a problem here, right? And this is somebody's idea of how to fix it, right or wrong, one way or the other. This is an attempt at least to address a problem that it kind of goes unspoken in a general breath, right? Like, we all just sort of go, oh yeah, as long as I'm good, it's good. Again, whether or not the long-term vision has actually been planned out here is debatable. But at the end of the day, the sun is still going to come up tomorrow. We're still going to need to continue to work and go to create whatever it is we create every day to bring monies home to feed ourselves and feed our children and keep roofs over our heads. So I think, generally speaking, not a lot has fundamentally changed in that department. Right. It's just, the nuances, to be polite, of where we're going to, get to objectively. There's the real big question mark, right? So, confidence and certainty, I don't think is anything anybody can deal with right now, or deal in right now, excuse me.
Well, and so how do you make this into an opportunity, right? So, and,
I was just about to say, there's already a miniature gold rush. Like, if you were to draw a line graph, and little blips on the radar tend to look like a candle flame, right? They call that a candle lick effect in a data chart or a money chart. And right now it's peaking up, right? Because there's people that are going, shit, I need to load up on inventory.
Yep. I got these projects.
Need to buy these things pre-tariff. I need to do what I need to do to make sure that my landed cost of goods is X so that my profit margin is Y. And I don't have time to, pardon the expression, I don't have time to fuck around and wait for a tariff or for somebody to figure it out. Like, this is what I'm negotiating for. This is what I'm shooting at. Let's get it done. And I think on the customer side of things, they're looking at it going, shit, I need a fixed cost on this project and I need to make sure that it lands at X price so that I can carry on. And when I'm doing my P&L at the end of the year, I don't have this, artificial or screwed up metric that, kills my profitability or whatever they're shooting for. So yeah, there's a ton of financial talk that you did not expect to get on this podcast, but there you go.
The price increase cold calls. Yeah, that's what we used to do in distribution. It's like, oh, there's a price increase coming. Go ahead and advertise it and say you got this much time before it happens.
Right.
And yeah, you
get
see
in
that
before.
spike.
Right.
but it's not realistic, and it is what's happening now. And I feel for the guys, the smaller dealers that don't have a place to store stuff, right? They don't have a place to have inventory, and they can't do that. Kind of like a buy-in, right? Like if you wanted a pre-tariff buy-in, you could call it, and they don't have anywhere to put this shit. So they're the ones that are really like, well,
Yeah, if you're short of cash, you can't finance an inventory buy. If you're living deal to deal, day to day, and going out on a limb at a whatever interest rate on a credit card, you just ate up any profitability you could have potentially made in interest, unless you got the cash to do it. So you're hedging your bet. So.
And that's a good point too, because that's another angle where people are getting squeezed as interest rates are just way higher than they used to be, and
right.
Where do you turn? How do you do this? And I think you're right. And if we learned any lessons from the pandemic, it's that, you should try and get on these things before the tariffs kick in, right? If you have room for the inventory, get them in. It's going to be the lesser pain in the ass to do it like that. One thing I learned from the pandemic though is education. Like you got to educate your customer, and like even a customer who's like totally plugged in and watches the news all the time and understands like egg prices and that kind of thing. They may not realize. Yeah. Like,
you got eggs, dude.
In this economy, Chris, are you crazy?
I had to buy eggs at Costco yesterday. That was, and this is not going to talk into OVO talk or anything else, but
did you go unstrapped?
No, it was, it was a pleasant experience. Like not a big deal. The only thing they didn't have brown eggs. They had white eggs, and we're okay with that. And we grabbed, whatever. They weren't crazy expensive. And, it was only like $2 or $3 an egg, and we were completely fine. But like a lot of people, what I'm getting at is a lot of people might realize that there's things are more expensive. Restaurants they go out at and eat at, but they might not realize how that affects things like construction, right? If it's somebody who's halfway through a project and they're building a home, like timber prices and material prices and everything else, like the builders got to educate.
I can hear you talking right now, Chris. I have 2 building projects going right now. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, like these things, this is a sliding scale, and unfortunately, everything gets affected, right? And everything from, you've seen, especially with manufacturers, like you've seen fuel surcharges go on to bills and stuff, and like, to play devil's advocate a little bit, like the manufacturer doesn't want to raise their prices, right? So, here's this little piece, and we're only doing this because we have to, because otherwise we're going to lose our shirts, and we're going to do this and that and whatever. But you need to educate the homeowner that this kind of thing is going on, right? Like everything has a semiconductor in it. All the semiconductors come from one place. That place is under tariffs right now.
Right.
And even if you somehow avoid that part of it, well, everything is manufactured and most assembly happens south of the border, right? So here's another, there's another tariff here, and all of these things. I got a friend who works for a car company, and he basically deals with port control and how many things to allocate to each port and that sort of thing, and like they don't know what's going on. Like they're in the same boat as electronics manufacturers where we don't know. We can't raise the sticker anymore because cars are already over, they're super expensive. There's a ton of things on the lot. And it's the same sort of deal with, with integrators. Like, man, I got a lot of stuff in stock already. I can't get rid of the stuff I have. Where am I going to shove all this new stuff? So, this is the fear and uncertainty. And, one way you can capitalize on that is with, hey, if you're on the fence about this project, you should probably make a decision soon, because prices are just going to go up. It's going to get more expensive to do this project. Let's lock you in now. Let's do it. And it sounds slimy, but it's the absolute truth. Like
Chris's advice, everybody, is to fearmonger. Just wanted to go ahead.
That's what this show is all about. Like we're, if you look at the kind of
you won't get all the jobs, but you'll get some of them.
Yeah, Chris's advice is to fearmonger.
Right.
Just want to make sure we're clear.
If you look at popular content in the world around you, what gets the most eyeballs? It's fear mongering on both sides, all over the map. So that's where we're going. We're trying to still,
I like the new direction of this podcast.
Buy it now or you're fucked.
Yeah, I like this. Let's make it urgent. Let's let's make you feel like you need to buy it now or we're going to lose the shop every day.
Absolutely.
All the time.
And I mean, hey, if you're a business owner, wouldn't you, that might be a tactic.
It's not a bad market strategy. I think it's been proven time and time again that, demand, artificial or not, is still demand. And it's good, for as long as you can make it good.
Yeah.
It's crazy, dude.
I feel for these dealers. I feel for them every day. And I know you two are having a lot more, contact and interaction with dealers than I do. So you probably get an earful every day. You know what's going on.
Yeah, it is strange. Again, I think that, we've talked about this at length, but the middle market is very, very soft right now. The do it for me audience is shrinking unless it's something that really requires permitting or something like that. I think there's a lot of customers that are either maybe foregoing entertainment upgrades altogether, or they're doing the simple, easy ones that they can do themselves. So, again, more of the reason why the lighting in the shade business is what it is, I think, in our space, because it's got to be more specialized now. It is easy enough to order things and do stuff. Quality may not be the same, not going to argue that, but there is enough of a skilled, I can do this for myself audience out there to drive a lot of this. So it'll be interesting to see what the next little bit looks like for everybody on multiple planes. But for our purposes, I would say, what does the CI market look like in the next 4 years? Like, really, what does it look like? Is it so specialized and you're going to basically a lighting and electrical type of firm to get some of this stuff done? Or, does the pendulum swing back the other way and it's all DIY, or it's the skybox seats and there's nothing in the middle? Like, what is, who knows? I think there's an argument or a question you could ask any day of the week about that, but it feels very palpable at the moment.
Yeah. Where maybe, do you see the clients that are deciding to do it themselves or take it upon themselves more in like retrofit jobs or upgrades, and then maybe people that are actually in the process of having a home built are more likely to go along with an integrator to do this stuff for them because they've already got contractors doing everything else for them, and they're just kind of like lumping it into what they already have going on. I see a little bit of that, but I'm curious. Like, we do have some of our bigger dealers that do mostly retro and not as much new home stuff, and I think a lot of it is continued clients, right? Clients from the past buying a new home or a house they did and someone moves into it and they see their name on it, So I haven't had many of those conversations with dealers about, if they're seeing more of that DIY stuff out there or not. But I know Southwest Washington's got a decent amount of building happening right now, but I don't really see it in the Portland area as much. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious what the difference is there and why that's what we're seeing. But guys that are have the model of like they're licensed, they do the rough end, they do the trim, and then the contractor steps back and they do the sale of the equipment. That seems to be working right now. But I don't know if that's everywhere.
I think there's a lot to be said for this kind of market where it is. And like, this is a good time. And we sound like a broken record here, but like, this is a good time to really try to make some partnerships, right?
Yeah. I was just about to say, you took the words right out of my mouth. You need some friends out there, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, we're all kind of in this together. The builder is dealing with a lot of the same stuff. He obviously, in most cases, the builder really doesn't want the homeowner doing their own electronics or any other trade or whatever. So it's a good opportunity to really kind of partner up and say, hey, look, we work as a team. It's this builder, this electrician, this interior designer, this technology person, and whatever. We've got our pencil very sharpened. We talk, there's efficiencies here with how we all work as a project team. And that's an attractive thing to a builder, right? Because if somebody's going to build a home, they're probably still going to build a home. They might put it off or they might tone it down or whatever, but they're probably still going to build a home. And, they need technology. They need all these things. I'm more worried about people looking at the equation and saying, you know what, I need plumbing and I need electrical and linear lighting is a nice to have. And multi-room entertainment is also a nice to have. I can hang this TV, I could put this TV on a cabinet, call it a day, plug in my cable box to it, have Xfinity or Verizon come out and do it all for me. That's the scary thing for me, because that's not an experience that I want somebody to necessarily have, right? Especially at a certain level. You know,
it could be so much better.
You deserve more.
That's something that gets lost. That's you're so right, Chris. Like the fundamentals of all of this is like, you know what sucks? It's just like your TV.
Right.
Like it might be this magical gateway in your mind, but it's not great. Like there's so many other things that you could do to enhance your life than just have this blob in a room that makes noise and has, blinky lights on it, right? Like
it all comes back to selling an experience, right? And if the contractor, the designer, the integrator, and everyone is on the same page as far as like, how are they going to live in their space? What do they want that experience to be like, right?
He's never here. Oh, well, that's a terrible opportunity. Right?
Yeah. Don't try too hard on that one.
And I think it's important to call that out. Like, you don't need to cling to every raft on the water, right? Like, not every client is a home run.
Sure.
And it's okay to say, you know what? Bonsoir, mon ami.
Peace out.
Peace out.
You get ugats.
Yeah, you get ugats from this guy right here. Oh man, we need to make that.
That's the next. Yeah, there you go.
Between concierge and cool, and you get ugats.
It's just this hand emoji. That's it. It's just
that's all you need.
No further explanation.
With the little marks that make it.
And then a QR code for the podcast on it, because I'm a shameless promoter.
It has to be.
And I mean, that's what I want. In life.
It's not. I'm not. I mean, I don't know about you. I'm probably not going to a random QR code that's on somebody's shirt. We could put the name on there just to let people know.
I want to have I really want people to scan it and just be like, what the fuck is this? Bloop, and just be like, what is this?
They
garbage?
will.
It's just an audio file of somebody saying, you get ugats. And that's it.
Exactly.
It
now, see, we're spitballing here.
Doesn't promote the show or anything else. It's just the sound clip. You get ugats. And it's just meta that way.
Yeah.
Because now you've literally gotten ugats from this QR code. So there you go.
And then everyone will start saying it and they'll be like, where'd you hear that? And then it all comes back around.
Wow.
Yeah,
that is some wishful thing. I'm glad we have you on, because I cannot think that wishfully, sir. That's
well, it's all of the beats. It's the consecutive beat downs that have actually started to pile up now at this point, right?
I'm turning into bronze.
I've been forged.
Oh God,
I have been forged.
Just forged in the fires of a dumpster. That's really
it's fine. It's fine.
I thought you were going to say Mount Doom.
No.
So what else AV related is happening here, fellas? What's your take in the world?
Well, we're on our way to summertime again here, man. It's outdoor audio season.
Outdoor TVs.
Yeah, outdoor TVs. We've got a cool new vendor partner that is to be announced in our day jobs that happen to have a pretty solid offering, it looks like, of outdoor video products. So I'm excited about what it looks like to be able to maybe talk about putting putting their chocolate in their peanut butter, however that combination works between one of our audio partners on my shirt, and try to slang some of those boxes here and try to bring some of that experience back to some of our customers and some of our dealers out there, to circle back on all of this, right? Like, I think family get-togethers and being around people that you know and love, as ever as that is an important, certainly is these days. So having those premium entertainment spaces, or having some of that stuff thought out where you're like, hey, I'd like to actually go over to Chris's house because he's got an outdoor TV and he's got surround sound, and I can barbecue and get trashed in his yard all day and never have to go in his house. I can just pee over here in the bushes. It'll be fine.
and Tukwila has re-entered the show. I think there's something to be said for being in safe places and safe spaces and that sort of thing. And there's a lot of uncertainty in the world. There's a lot of fear and doubt and uncertainty, FUD, as we've referred to it. Yeah, man, backyard barbecue is a pretty nice place to be. And, to tie into how we'll be spending our summer, we're going to be putting on quite a few backyard barbecues. It sounds like we got a full slate of events coming up. So
I'm looking forward to that, honestly. Like, whether or not we can string together this idea with with a certain person's RV or not, and schlepp some TVs around, is to be determined, I would suppose. But yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. Like it doesn't sound like a bad way to spend some time this summer and getting out and having some events and spending some time with the people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, we got a lot to look forward to here. There's a bunch of events that we're going to be working to stand up. The Lucetta stuff is already like set in stone. Those same Top Golf things that we did last year. That's all coming your way. That'll be fun. But yeah, I don't know, guys. That's all I got.
Yeah, running out of gas. It feels like here on the Inside Integration.
It's been a long day. Do you guys want to know
on Chris's face how much shit he's dealing with right now, and how much work he has to do? And when we got acquired, and he's like, "Well, I guess that's it for me, guys." And now he can't not work.
Now he's
working
leave.
at night. He's working at night. He's not sleeping. I mean, he's running out of gas. Like you said,
I just want to die.
Yeah, this job is like Chaz Palminteri in A Bronx Tale when the bikers are trying to leave the bar and he locks the door and he goes, "Now you can't leave.
You can't leave.
Nah, you can't leave."
And then all the guys from the neighborhood come and beat up all the bikers. That's
there's nobody for
the bikers right now.
There's some guys in suits with Italian accents.
Chris is all of the bikers right now, especially that one in the striped shirt. He really gets it pretty good.
I mean, I don't know.
It spills out into the street and everything. It's awesome.
I don't know how else I would do this without controlled substances like those bikers. So there's your parallel. But there's a lot happening. It also doesn't help either. I don't know how, I don't know when the last time you were without internet was, but man, it takes a lot out of you to be like trying to fix not having internet because your job depends on having internet and spending 4 hours doing it while you're taking a slate of meetings on your phone at the same time. I don't know if you guys have experienced that, but it is not
to that level. I mean, I had it happen last week, but it was just some internal shit. It wasn't the ISP. And no, I didn't have a bunch of shit on my plate like you did. Yeah.
It's great.
I was hosting during COVID and, I was doing video stuff from my garage and they did a service update in our neighborhood, like right when we had a big launch planned. And it was a white knuckler, dude. Yeah. It was just like, oh, okay, well, it could be on. And I was like, well, it could be because there's like 300 people, so they're waiting to get on a Zoom call with me that I'm hosting from this house right now.
Russian
so I'm really
roulette.
hopeful that that's going to go for you. And it actually literally came together about 5 minutes before the whole thing went live. It was like, do I cancel? Do I not? Do I cancel? Do I not? It's like, hey, your service has been restored. I was like, oh, let's start a Teams call.
White knuckles.
Let's go.
Yeah, baby.
No, thank you. No, nobody knew the difference. I was totally calm, cool, and collected. And then I, went and, screamed into a pillow for an hour afterwards.
Hey, when you were doing those webinars, did you have a good camera or?
Yeah, I had several, but I had to give them all to our good friend Uncle Russ. So
damn, they weren't yours.
One of
all
those
but
deals.
one.
Yeah, exactly.
All right,
exactly.
Well, yeah, that's gonna do it for us. Look for some swag coming soon. We'll stick some links and some pictures and good stuff.
Yeah, hit us up on the @Inside Integration podcast or @Inside Integration on Instagram. We're also on the YouTubes. We're on Spotify now. I think that's where we get a lot of our listeners from. So if you're listening on Spotify, give us a like, give us a love, give us a heart, give us a smile, whatever those things are. I don't know what any of the things I just said mean, but give us some of those.
We are, we are definitely, and which I am great with our video medium not being so good. Our audio medium does very, very well. Spotify, Apple Podcast, anywhere that you could find a podcast, we can be found. And drop us a line, insideintegration@gmail.com if you want to shoot us an email, and we'll see you soon.
Right on.
Oh, you don't want to do your take care, everybody?
Oh, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Jesus, for God's sake.